Convert the following complex numbers into Cartesian form. Now I'm getting slightly ahead of myself here in that I'm writing this cis. So we are coming on to that and I'll explain it again later. But cis is an abbreviation that basically means cos plus I sine. So when I write 4 cis pi by 3, it's a contraction of 4 cos pi by 3 plus 4I sine pi by 3. And it's quite a nice, neat way of doing it. You'll soon get used to that. We'll talk about it a bit later. Like I say, I'm getting ahead of myself because I didn't actually introduce it before the example. But hopefully that now makes sense. Now, when we're converting this way, which means we're going polar to Cartesian, we don't actually have any sort of problem. We can just simply say that that is 4 cos pi by 3 plus 4I sine pi by 3, and then just work it out. In this case, we know the cosine of pi by 3 is 0.5 or a half. And so 4 cos pi by 3 is 2. We know that sine pi by 3 is root 3 over 2. And so that is going to be 2 root 3 I. And we could do the same sort of thing here. We don't even need to worry what quadrant that's in because it will sort it out for us. So this one here is going to be 4 root 2 cos negative 3 pi by 4 plus 4 root 2 I sine negative 3 pi by 4. Now, when I said we don't have to worry about the quadrant, you do as far as the fact that negative 3 pi by 4 means it's over here in the tan quadrant, so both the cosine and the sine are negative. So that is going to be 4 root 2, and the cosine of negative 3 pi by 4 would be negative root 2 on 2, and then we've got 4 root 2 I, and the sine of negative 3 pi by 4 is negative root 2 on 2, and so root 2 times root 2 being 2, that means that that and that will cancel, so we're going to have negative 4. Same thing will happen over here, and we'll have take away 4I. While we're at it here, we've got a picture of a function that you will find if you go into either action or interactive, and you'll find this function under complex numbers, I think, perhaps vectors. Perhaps we should have a look. So yeah, we can see I found it under action, complex, and there it is at the bottom, comp to rect, and you have to use this little angle symbol when you use that one. So let's just bring the calculator back and have a look at that. So go comp to rect, and the little angle symbol there you can see is in the math 3 in your keyboard, and this one here where it says 10 pi by 4 means that r is equal to 10 and theta is pi by 4, and then you can see that we get 5 root 2 plus 5 root 2 I as the answer. You're going to need to be in complex mode for that to work. Okay, continuing with our example, this one is going to be 5 cos pi by 2 plus 5I sine pi by 2. Cosine of pi by 2 is 0. Sine of pi by 2 is 1. So this one is just 5I. And that makes sense because if you think about an Argon diagram, then 5I is here and the angle is pi by 2. And then finally 3 cis pi would be 3 cos 3 cis negative pi, negative pi plus 3i sine negative pi, and the cosine of negative pi is negative 1, sine of negative pi is 0, so this one is negative 3, and that also makes sense. Negative 3 is here, the angle there is pi, or if you measure it that way, negative pi.